In the fast-paced world we live in these days, it seems families are always on the go. Typically, that means families are grabbing food on the run, which may seem easy at the time, but may not help provide your children with the best foundation to keep them grounded as they grow. Recently, dietetic intern Sumra Harper-Deas of Keene State College came to PEG TV to talk about the importance of family meals with her daughter Lucy.
A family meal to me is when a family comes together just to enjoy eating together, and it's about connection and sharing support and love with your family members.
Family meals mean there are no distractions, no television, or use of cell phones at the table.
Child feeding specialist Alan Satter said, "Without meals, home is just a place to stay." So I think about family meals as being a way to make home be a place of connection with your family members and not so much just a place where you lay your head at night.
Research shows that when children have a strong sense of family, they do better emotionally, socially, get better grades, and are less likely to do drugs or drink alcohol.
Additionally, when children eat a regular dinner with their family, they do better nutritionally because they're more likely to be eating more fruits and vegetables and dairy, and they're less likely to be eating so much soda, drinking soda, or eating fried foods.
Sumra has a couple tips to help make family foods and dinner time a success. First, provide food that's rewarding for you to prepare and plan. If feeding your family feels like a hated chore, it takes away from the point of having a family meal. 2, schedule a sit-down snack time for your children. This way, your children will be hungry for dinner. 3, don't stress out about making an elaborate meal. Dinner can be simple. Sumra's 4th tip is to use mealtime to teach kids how to behave at the kitchen table. Sumra says if you try to make family mealtime a priority, chances are your relationships within your household will grow and flourish for years to come.
Sumra says it can take a child 20 or more neutral exposures to a new food before they'll accept it. According to Sumra, that neutral exposure can be letting a child play with the food or push it around on a plate.
So children are naturally very cautious about trying a new food, and it's very prominent at certain ages, the toddler, preschool ages. And this caution is totally normal, and most children are like that. A friend of mine described feeding his very picky 4-year-old as being one of the most frustrating experiences of his life. So it can affect all parts of your day. It can affect your entire relationship with your child if you have to be struggling over eating food 3 times or more a day. The good news is that although children can be very cautious about trying new foods, they also have a strong desire to learn and explore new things. They always want to be reaching the next step and growing to a new place. So they both have this caution that's mixed with a desire to explore. And I think the hard part for parents is to realize how much patience it takes and how much time it takes for children to become comfortable with a new food.
Sumra says allowing your children to play with Swiss chard or help somehow in the kitchen allows them to become more familiar with the foods they're timid to try.
Trying new foods is important for getting variety into your child's diet. Different types of foods offer different nutrients, and if your child only eats, as many young children tend to, only likes plain chicken and applesauce and noodles with butter, that might sound familiar to some people, it means that they're missing out on the nutrients that they could be getting from all other kinds of foods. So that's why it really matters, and it's important to work towards introducing new foods to your children so that they have a palate that can accept all kinds of foods.
The neutral exposures to food Sumra talks about can sometimes lead to a parent's frustration, but if you stay persistent, odds are you'll win in the end.
One of the most helpful things that I learned as a mom was that it can take a child 10 to 20 or more neutral exposures to a new food before they come to accept it.
Bite it, Mom.
Did you try a bite of it?
Bite it.
You want me to bite it? Chard. So a neutral exposure, I should define this. An exposure doesn't mean your child is trying the food necessarily. It means It might mean just seeing the food at the dinner table. It might mean that the food is on their plate. Maybe it means that they pick the food up and they mush it around in their fingers, or they're picking at it with their fork. It could also mean that they help you harvest some carrots from the garden, or maybe they go to the farmer's market with you and help you carry the produce around, or hold the Swiss chard when you guys are walking around. Or it could even be at the grocery store. Maybe you let your child pick out a couple different kinds of fruits, or hold the onions while they're in the grocery cart. Those are all different ways to be exposed to new foods. It could also be part of the cooking process. They could help you with that.
What would be your recommendation for a parent in